As the wise Mrs. Incredible once said, leave the saving of the world to the men? I don't think so. Number 10, Polaris. Polaris, as the daughter of Magneto, it's understandable that she would be wickedly powerful. Her real name is Lorna Dane. She is considered an alpha-level mutant, renowned for her mastery over magnetism. She inherited her father's terrifying abilities, quite frankly, allowing her to manipulate magnetic fields, control metal, generate force fields, and even fly by riding magnetic currents. Polaris can unleash devastating electromagnetic pulses, disrupt electronic systems, and assemble complex machinery with a mere thought. Her powers have proven crucial in countless battles alongside the X-Men and X-Factor, and her control has grown to rival that of her legendary father. In a terrifying display of her abilities, Polaris once manipulated the iron in an entire crowd of people's blood, making them all pass out by reversing the flow direction. Beyond her raw power, Lorna's intelligence and resilience makes her a menacing force both as a leader and protector of mutant kind. Number 9, another mutant, Rogue. Rogue, Miss Anna Marie, is one of Marvel's most powerful, complex, and fan-favorite mutants. As a prominent member of the X-Men from Earth 616, Rogue's signature ability is the power to absorb the memories, abilities, and even life force of others through physical touch. This makes her incredibly dangerous, as she can technically eliminate people without meaning to, but it is also proven to be a strength, as she can temporarily gain the powers of anyone that she comes into contact with, including some of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. Most famously, Rogue seemingly permanently absorbed the powers of Carol Danvers, granting her superhuman strength, flight, and near invulnerability in addition to her mutant ability. Her combination of raw power, versatility, and combat skills make her a force to be reckoned with, feared by her enemies, and with her heart, wit, and charm, respected by her allies. Recently, Rogue's powers were increased, and she can absorb power from a distance. Despite the burden of her powers, Rogue remains a heroic figure, constantly striving to control her abilities and use them for good. Number 8, the Invisible Woman. Sue Storm is one of Marvel's most powerful superheroes and a founding member of the Fantastic Four. Her powers originated from cosmic radiation that granted her the ability to turn herself and other objects invisible by bending light waves / manipulating ambient cosmic energy. More impressively, Sue can project and manipulate invisible psionic force fields with incredible versatility. These force fields can be shaped into nearly indestructible shields, offensive weapons like darts, or large constructs spanning miles, capable of levitating or protecting entire buildings. She can even block out the sunlight for a few days, which she did do and accidentally caused a mass extinction event as expected. Sue's force fields also provide mental protection against telepathic attacks and can interact with other psychic energies. Her power level is so formidable that even Doctor Doom has acknowledged her as the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four, and she has feats such as holding back explosions, defeating powerful foes solo, and even rupturing the shell of a Celestial, which is really hard to do. Her abilities extend beyond invisibility, making her a strategic and devastating force in combat and defense, often underestimated but truly one of Marvel's heaviest hitters. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that we are very excited to see the Invisible Woman back on the big screen this summer. Number 7, Sersi. Sersi is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, belonging to the race of superhuman Eternals. Her primary and most dangerous ability is matter transmutation, allowing her to rearrange the molecular and atomic structure of both living and non-living matter with a skill far surpassing any other Eternal. This power enables her to permanently transform objects and beings, even down to the subatomic level, making her a unique 5th level adept in this domain. Besides her transmutation skills, Sersi possesses superhuman strength, agility, telekinesis, telepathy, and the ability to project cosmic energy, granting her virtual immortality and invulnerability. She can also cast illusions and control minds and teleport, although the teleportation stuff is kind of unpleasant for her. Her powers have earned her a place among the Avengers and recognition as one of the most powerful Avengers and Eternals. Notably, her molecular manipulation is so advanced that even the Eternal leader feared her capabilities, and she's been ranked highly in power among her peers. Number 6, America Chavez. America Chavez is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. I know we say that about everybody, but I really do mean it. Endowed with a unique set of superhuman abilities that make her nearly indestructible. She possesses superhuman strength and speed and durability. She can survive unaided in the vacuum of space. Her signature power is the ability to create star-shaped portals that allow her to travel across dimensions in the multiverse, making her one of the few heroes capable of interdimensional travel at will. America also has hypercosmic awareness, enabling her to sense disruptions in space and time and navigate the multiverse with precision. She can channel extra-dimensional energy to enhance her physical attacks, sometimes releasing powerful energy blasts capable of injuring cosmic-level beings like Captain Marvel. Additionally, America Chavez has an extended lifespan and is a skilled hand-to-hand combatant. Loki has described her as a nearly indestructible woman who can throw tanks at the moon, underscoring her immense strength and resilience. Overall, America Chavez stands out as an intimidating cosmic hero with vast powers that extend beyond physical might to include reality bending and multiversal travel. Halfway point number 5, Kismet, or her, literally her. Kismet is an extraordinarily powerful cosmic being in the Marvel Universe, created through advanced genetic engineering by the Enclave. Her cells function as cosmic-like energy batteries, enabling her to absorb and store and manipulate vast amounts of cosmic energy for multiple effects, such as projecting concussive force blasts, levitating objects using anti-gravitons, rearranging matter on a molecular level, and generating rifts into warp space for near instantaneous travel. She possesses superhuman strength, capable of pressing 70 tons, can fly at speeds of Mach 10, and survive the vacuum of space without fatigue or aging. Kismet also has limited telepathic abilities, including understanding pretty much any language and also mind control. When severely injured, she can encase herself in a regenerative cosmic cocoon to heal. Her durability is so high that only attacks dispersing a significant portion of her molecules can actually harm her. She has faced and battled some of the most daunting cosmic threats, including Galactus and Thanos and intergalactic forces, underscoring her status as the world-ending level threat protector. My pronouns are she, but not her, because I could never be her. Number 4, possibly the most powerful mutant ever, we have Storm, also known as Aurora Monroe. Classified as an Omega level mutant due to her vast and versatile abilities to control the weather and atmosphere on a global and even extraterrestrial scale. She can manipulate temperature, precipitation, humidity, wind, lightning, and atmospheric pressure, enabling her to summon storms such as tornadoes or hurricanes, blizzards, and thunderstorms with precision and devastating effects. Beyond weather control, Storm can generate and channel electrical energy, fly by riding wind currents, and even manipulate air pressure inside of a person's body to cause pain. Her powers extend to cosmic phenomena, including solar winds and electromagnetic fields, and she can survive and operate in extreme environments. Additionally, Storm has a strong will that makes her resistant to psychic attacks and enhances her combat skills, making her a skilled fighter trained by several different heroes. Recently, she had also tapped into her magical abilities inherited from her ancestral lineage, allowing her to perform extraordinary feats such as opening controlled portals or pushing her new power beyond typical Omega level limits and potentially making her the strongest member of the Xmen. Her combination of mutant and magical powers, along with her traditional acumen, cements Storm's status as one of Marvel's most powerful and iconic characters. Number 3, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, or Carol Danvers, is an incredibly powerful Kree-human hybrid. Her powers stem from her hybrid physiology, which grants her the superhuman strength, stamina, agility, durability, and reflexes. She can fly at interplanetary speeds without the need for oxygen, survive in the vacuum of space, of course, and manipulate cosmic energy to generate devastating photon blasts capable of destroying enemy ships or powerful foes. Her strength is immense, she can support the weight of a celestial, and when fully empowered, can unleash energy blasts equivalent to nuclear explosions. Additionally, Captain Marvel possesses a regenerative healing factor that allows her to recover rapidly from injuries and also has a form of de-accelerated aging. She can absorb various forms of energy, enhancing her physical abilities and energy projection, and can temporarily transform into her binary form, which further amplifies her powers. Her 7th sense, because she's so cool, she doesn't even have a 6th one, she has a 7th sense, grants her a form of cosmic awareness, making her highly perceptive of threats. Trained as a pilot, spy, and combatant, she combines these skills with her vast powers to protect the universe on a cosmic scale. Number 2, Jean Grey. Of course Jean Grey is here, she has to be. Jean Grey is one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel Universe, there's no ands, if, buts about it. Classified as an Omega level mutant due to her extraordinary telepathic and telekinetic abilities. As a telepath, she can read and manipulate minds, project her thoughts into others, create illusions, mentally stun opponents, and form psychic links, even communicating with animals of high intelligence. Her telekinetic Telekinesis allows her to fly, move, or manipulate objects and beings, create force fields, and project concussive blasts. When bonded with the cosmic Phoenix Force, her powers escalate to near godlike levels. She gains total telekinetic control over matter at the molecular level, can generate and absorb vast energies, convert her form to pure energy, manipulate space-time, and resurrect the deceased under certain conditions. The Phoenix Force manifests as a fiery cosmic bird around her, symbolizing her immense power. This combination makes Jean Grey a near unstoppable force capable of feats such as defeating cosmic entities like Galactus, eliminating entire solar systems, and reshaping reality itself. Now, I knew when I was making this list that the #1 spot would go to none other than Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch. It's near impossible to find someone that compares to the Scarlet Witch's powers in the Marvel Universe or in the MCU. She wields a unique blend of mutant abilities and chaos magic that allows her to alter reality itself. Initially introduced with the power to manipulate probability through hexes, she evolved into an intimidating sorceress capable of warping the fabric of existence on a quantum level. Her chaos magic, bestowed by the demon Chthon, grants her the ability to reshape reality, creating highly realistic illusions and manipulate energy and matter with devastating effects. She has demonstrated power on par with cosmic entities, even resisting the Phoenix Force, one of the universe's most potent forces. Scarlet Witch can teleport across dimensions in time, control outcomes of events, and turn enemies' powers against them. Her reality-altering abilities were famously showcased in the House of M storyline, where she rewrote the world to her will, underscoring her status as the near omnipotent force within the Marvel Universe. This combination of mutant genes and mastery of chaos magic places her in today's top spot as the most powerful superhero. Number 10. Princess Amethyst. Princess Amethyst is one of the most powerful characters in the DC Universe due to her unique heritage and vast magical abilities. She is the princess of Gem World, a mystical world where magic is drawn from gemstones. In the New Earth continuity, after her parents were eliminated by the villainous Dark Opal, Amethyst was sent to Earth and raised as a human, unaware of her true identity until her 13th birthday. Upon returning to Gem World, she embraced her role as protector and leader, wielding powerful magic, mastering swordsmanship, and commanding political authority over the realm. What sets Amethyst apart is her status as a Lord of Order, a rare magical entity with a human form, granting her extraordinary powers such as telekinesis, dimensional travel, astral projection, and high-level sorcery. Throughout her storylines, she has defeated intimidating villains, including the Lords of Chaos, and even merged with Gemworld itself to maintain balance. Her combination of royal lineage, magical prowess, and warrior skills makes her an underrated yet powerful force in the DC Universe. Number 9. Pandora. Pandora, as in the famous Pandora with the box, does not get the credit that she deserves in the DC Universe. Pandora is a very powerful character due to her immortality, extensive knowledge of magic, and mastery of martial arts and weaponry. Cursed by the Circle of Eternity, she possesses a unique physiology that grants her abilities beyond those of many other characters, making her an intimidating foe. Pandora's powers include not just the ability to understand all languages, but also something called the Voice. Because she's been alive for so long, she's learned some pretty neat tricks. With the Voice, she can briefly control another being's actions. Most notably, she became the vessel for the Light of Hope while battling the villain Blight. She literally became the representation of the goodness in humanity, and with that came some sick new armor, and also the ability to manipulate light energy into constructs. Number 8. Star Sapphire. Star Sapphire is one of DC's most powerful characters due to her connection to the violet light of the emotional spectrum, which represents love. Her powers include creating energy constructs, force fields, energy projection, flight, and advanced healing abilities, such as healing wounds and even resurrecting the dead. However, there is a catch with that one. She can only resurrect the person if there is a strong love connection between them and someone nearby. So she essentially links these two bodies together by their hearts and just magically makes it happen. Star Sapphire's unique ability to crystallize enemies in violet constructs effectively immobilizes and neutralizes threats, while her healing powers provide substantial support to allies. As the leader and queen of the Star Sapphire Corps, Carol Ferris wields powers that rival those of the Green Lantern Corps, balancing offensive crowd control with potent healing and support, making her a powerful force in the DC Universe. We had Star Sapphire, and now it is Starfire's time to shine at number 7. Starfire has powers unlike any other because of her alien physiology, which allows her to constantly absorb ultraviolet radiation and convert it to energy, granting her superhuman abilities. She can fly at supersonic speeds and even travel through space. This energy also gives her incredible strength and durability. Starfire can release her stored energy as powerful blasts called Starbolts. She is also a proficient hand-to-hand combatant. Some versions of the character trained by the warlords of Akara. Other versions trained in the practice since childhood. Either way, she was transformed into a terrifying force on the battlefield. Starfire can unleash all of her stored energy in a massive, omnidirectional explosive burst, rivaling the power of a supernova, though this leaves her weakened. Some experiments were performed on her that do set her apart even from her own people, as they made her immune to technology that would normally strip her of her powers. Number 6. Lady Shazam, or Mary Shazam. Mary Bromfield, also known as Lady Shazam or Mary Marvel, is recognized as one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe due to her divine empowerment and the vast magical abilities that she commands. Originally, Mary gained her powers from a similar mystical source like her adopted brother, Billy Shazam, granting her superhuman strength, flight, invulnerability, superhuman agility, super speed, living lightning, and a healing factor. In recent storylines, Mary has distinguished herself further by receiving a unique set of powers directly from a pantheon of goddesses, and please help me with the pronunciation here, so including the agility of Selene, the strength of Hippolyta, the stamina of Artemis, the flight of Zephyrus, the invulnerability of Aurora, and the wisdom of Minerva. But that makes her abilities both distinct and on par with, if not exceeding, those of her brother. This new empowerment not only solidifies her independence as a hero, but also showcases her worthiness and maturity, as her powers were given in recognition of her selflessness and bravery. Number 5. Zatanna. Zatanna stands among the most powerful characters in the DC universe due to her mastery of magic, her heritage as a homo magi, and her unique ability to cast spells by speaking commands backwards that make them more powerful. Her powers are extraordinarily versatile, ranging from elemental manipulation and telekinesis to teleportation, mind control, reality alteration, and even time and dimensional travel. Zatanna's magic is so potent that she has performed feats such as healing grievous injuries instantly, wiping Batman's memory, altering personalities, and opening portals across space and time with apparent ease. Her deep knowledge of magical lore and threats, combined with her quick thinking and confidence, make her an irreplaceable asset in battles against mystical and cosmic dangers. Despite vulnerabilities like her magic typically relying on her ability to speak in order to work its best, Zatanna's capacity to reshape reality itself and contend with the universe's most terrifying beings proves that she is one of DC's supreme magicians and most powerful heroes. Number 4. Big Barda. A new god from Apocalypse, Big Barda is not to be trifled with. Raised in the brutal world run by Darkseid, Barda became the leader of the Female Furies, the most feared warriors in a world renowned for its cruelty and strength, so clearly she was very good at both of those things. Her new god physiology grants her superhuman strength, along with near invulnerability, immortality, and enhanced agility, stamina, and reflexes. Barda is a master combatant and expert swordswoman able to fight Wonder Woman to a standstill, and her advanced battle armor further enhances her durability. She wields the Mega Rod, a powerful weapon capable of firing devastating energy blasts, manipulating gravity, and enabling teleportation, making her a threat to even the most powerful foes. Barda's combination of raw power, advanced technology, and unmatched combat skill solidifies her status as one of DC's most formidable heroes. She was a villain, I mean you have no choice when your leader is Darkseid, until she fell in love with Miracle Man and left all the bad stuff behind her, and now she is a force for good. Thank God. Number 3. Supergirl. Supergirl, known as Kara Zor-El, is one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe due to her Kryptonian physiology and exposure to a yellow sun, which grants her abilities comparable and in some cases exactly the same as Superman's. She possesses virtually unlimited strength, stamina, and near invulnerability, along with super speed, flight, and a variety of enhanced senses such as X-ray, heat, telescopic, microscopic, and infrared vision. Additionally, she has super breath and freeze breath, a bioelectric aura that enhances her durability, and an effectively immortal lifespan without the need for food, water, or sleep. Her healing factor allows her to recover almost instantaneously from injuries, should she get them, that is, and her powers can increase with prolonged exposure to solar radiation. Unlike Superman, who often suppresses his full power, Supergirl tends to use her abilities at full strength, sometimes making her appear even more powerful. Her unique combination of raw power, versatile abilities, and Kryptonian heritage, including memories of Kryptonian culture, make her one of the most powerful figures in the DC Comics universe. Number 2. Raven. Raven's powers are nearly unmatched in the DC universe due to her unique heritage as the daughter of the demon Trigon and a human mother, which grants her an extraordinary blend of demonic and empathetic abilities. Her core power power is her soul self, an astral projection that can travel great distances, become intangible, absorb energy, and mentally subdue enemies. This soul self also serves as a protective shield and allows her to teleport herself and others across dimensions. Beyond this, Raven is a master of mystic arts, wielding chaos magic that lets her perform a wide array of magical feats without traditional incantations, including telekinesis, shadow manipulation, hypnosis, and healing. Her empathetic powers enable her to sense and manipulate emotions, and even absorb pain and disease from others. Raven's combination of powerful magic, psychic abilities, and her struggle to control her demonic side make her a strong and complex hero, recognized as one of the Teen Titans' most powerful members and a key figure in teams like the Justice League Dark. And finally, number 1, Wonder Woman. Like, who else was going to take the top spot today? Wonder Woman is one of DC's heaviest hitters thanks to her divine heritage, the extensive array of God-given abilities that she possesses, and the years of trainings that she's had. Created from clay and brought to life by the Greek gods, she essentially embodies the strengths and gifts of deities like Aphrodite, Athena, and Demeter. Her superhuman strength rivals that of Superman, enabling her to lift thousands of tons and engage in combat with other gods and top-tier heroes. She also has superhuman speed, agility, and reflexes, allowing her to sometimes keep pace with the Flash and react faster than most opponents. Her durability is exceptional, resistant to extreme temperatures, concussive forces, and magical attacks, though she does remain vulnerable to piercing weapons. Beyond physical prowess, Wonder Woman wields magical items like the Lasso of Truth, which compels honesty, and indestructible bracelets that can deflect bullets and energy blasts. Additionally, she possesses divine wisdom, healing abilities, magical abilities, and enhanced senses granted by the gods, making her a fierce warrior and tactician. She was actually one of the 5 that the Goddess of Magic stored her magic in for safekeeping. Her combat skills, combined with her supernatural powers and moral conviction, position her as a key defender of justice and one of the most powerful superheroes in the entire DC universe.
Number 10. White Rabbit. While White Rabbit hasn't done that much yet, she was recently announced as the main villain for the first arc of the new Batman and Robin book, so evidently she must have some pretty big power to be playing a role as the main baddie there. And not just any main baddie, by the way, the first one in this story. Typically in comics, the first villain to appear also tends to help define the focus of the entire story, and often are defeated at the beginning only to come back even bigger, badder, and stronger by the end. Not always, but you know, this is pretty common, I find, when it comes to my experience reading comics, so this could be one of the scenarios that we're gonna see here. When White Rabbit first appeared, she introduced herself as the girl that got away, and was established as a pretty slippery character who had the power to be in 2 places at once, enjoying taunting and tormenting Batman, all while actually dating Bruce Wayne, who I don't believe she actually knew was Batman, but still, that's pretty crazy. Her White Rabbit persona seems more interested in the Bats, while her Jaina Hudson persona seems more interested in Bruce, which makes for an interesting dynamic when it comes to how she relates to the character of the Dark Knight, being herself kind of 2 different people. I mean, literally 2 different people. And friends, before I move on to our next spot on this list, if you love when we talk about powerful female characters, be sure to go check out our most powerful playlist. Number 9. Lady Bullseye. Man, Lady Bullseye. For a female version of a male villain, she's actually surprisingly cool, I gotta say. Like her male counterpart, Lady Bullseye is also a master of accuracy, being able to hit just about any target with just about any projectile. She was actually inspired by Bullseye herself to become a villain after he incidentally, though not really intentionally, saved her at a young age. Lady Bullseye was created by the fantastic creative team of Ed Brubaker and Clay Mann, and is a more modern comic book creation, first appearing in Daredevil issue number 11 from 2008. Number 8. Captain Phasma. Man, I love Captain Phasma. I feel so like I was robbed of just getting all of the Captain Phasma stuff and backstories, and there's so much good stuff about her. While Captain Phasma may have been shafted in the Star Wars films, I know she has some pretty great comics to her name, which are being produced over at Marvel Comics as part of their Star Wars division, or that have been, I guess I should say. So in that regard, she definitely counts as a female comic book villain, while also happening to be a Star Wars villain as well, so just bonus. Phasma's own origin story shows how strong and determined she is as a character. Much of what we know from this story actually comes from the novel about her that was based on sort of her origin story titled Phasma. Here it's established that Phasma grew up on Parnassos, a world ravaged by nuclear calamity. Phasma helped to organize the death of her own clan, including her parents, to ensure her brother and herself survive, even going so far as to fake a threat to his life by herself stabbing him in the foot and then pushing him down a cave. When Phasma first met with the First Order, she was enamored by their resources, their wealth, and their power, and saw in them a way to rise up herself. When her brother Keldo refused to help her in aiding the First Order, she even turned on him, killing him and leaving with a few of the best warriors to join with the dark side. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. She's just like, I'm just gonna get rid of this entire family, go do my own thing. Number 7, Enchantress. Enchantress over at DC Comics is kind of a 2-for-1 deal. I feel like I got a lot of characters actually on here that are kind of 2-for-1 deals. June Moon makes up her civilian persona, a totally different person actually, while Enchantress is the dark witch that is her superpowered villain persona. The two became attached years ago and have not been able to be separated since. In the film Suicide Squad, Moon, played by Cara Delevingne, was an archaeologist, but in the comics, June Moon is actually an artist, making her possession by the entity known as the Succubus even more disturbing and strange. Enchantress first appeared all the way back in the 60s, created by Bob Haney and Howard Purcell, making her first appearance in Strange Adventures issue 187. Number 6, Star Sapphire. Star Sapphire is often known for being the rival of Green Lantern. She is Carol Ferris, initially Hal Jordan's love interest turned his villain, who also was often still kinda his love interest. She herself becomes a Lantern, but just not of the green variety, instead becoming a Violet Lantern, joining the Star Sapphires, or if you prefer, the Violet Lantern Corps. The violet spectrum of emotion and light actually rules over love, longing, lust, so I think you can imagine what kind of power Carol holds both over Hal and, any others who happen to fall into her path. I also love the idea that someone wielding love can be just as deadly as someone like a Red Lantern or a Green Lantern who wield the power of rage or willpower respectively. Number 5, Grail. Grail is the powerful daughter of Darkseid and the Amazonian assassin Myrna. Being that she is both Amazonian by birth and also a new god, she is extremely powerful. She also has been shown to possess magical abilities as well that even allow her to have some power over life and death, successfully bringing back her father Darkseid after he died. Initially though, Grail was actually born with her mother's hope that Grail would one day be the key to defeating Darkseid. However, there was also a prophecy that Grail would one day cause great destruction, with the knowledge putting her in danger shortly after she was born. With this knowledge putting her in danger shortly after she was born. Her mother Myrna gave birth to Grail at the same time that actually Princess Diana was born to Hippolyta. Together, Myrna and her newborn were two of the first Amazons to actually leave Themyscira. Eventually, the prophecy connected to Grail would come true, with her teaming up with the Anti-Monitor initially in an attempt to defeat her father, Darkseid. I think you can imagine that. That would be pretty destructive. Number 4, Moonstone. Carla Sofin is Moonstone. She started out as a brilliant but evil psychiatrist who actually used her skills and knowledge to manipulate, get this, her own patients. That is definitely not good. That's some villain stuff right there. She became the protege of Dr. Faustus, continuing to develop her manipulative skills and her nature. Eventually, she managed to persuade the original Moonstone, Lloyd Bloch, into handing over the alien gem that gave him his powers. She used it to become a superpowered villain in her own right, and has often been known for her conflict with Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, and then of course, later Captain Marvel, which came more to a head during her time on Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers team. Number 3, Umar. Umar is the sister of the famous Dormammu, although sadly I feel like not a lot of people talk about Umar. We all talk about Dormammu, but what about Umar? She's there too, she's super cool. Like her brother, she is also an extremely powerful being and hails from the Dark Dimension, although she too is a member of the Faltine, so they're actually not native to the Dark Dimension, but simply infiltrated it and then ended up conquering it, with Dormammu becoming its ruler, but really only because the fight to actually win it and also trap the mindless ones had left Umar in a weakened state, so that's why her brother rules and not her. Umar and Dormammu are both members of the Faltine, a race of beings known to be extremely powerful energy-based beings that are basically made up of pure magic. Doesn't get more magical than that. Number 2, Hela. Hela is the daughter of Loki in the Marvel Universe, or at least in the comic book main continuity universe of Earth 616, although most people know her as Thor and Loki's secret sister in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But in the comics, this is actually not how she's connected to the family. Inherently, Hela mythologically was not necessarily, but her being a goddess of death basically is what makes her bad, at least in the comic book universe. Just her attachment to that part of the life cycle, as well as her connection to the underworld, as well as the fact that, she's Loki's daughter. As a ruler of Hell, Hela is granted full immortality, even beyond what a normal Asgardian would have, which, in case you didn't know, they're actually not technically immortal. Hela can also make almost anyone age rapidly, including people that are actually Asgardians, or also render anyone immortal if she so chooses. She can take your life away, or she can give you endless life. Number 1, Circe. Circe is one of my all-time favorite villains from the DC universe. She's an immensely powerful and ancient witch who often opposes the DC hero Wonder Woman. At one point in DC DC Comics, Circe was able to take within herself all the magical power and abilities of Hecate, or Hecate if you prefer, making her one of the most powerful magical forces in the world after Hecate fell. Fortunately, the Justice League Dark were able to stop her, but for a moment there, and even after the conflict was resolved actually, she became pretty insanely powerful. I gotta say, I was like, I don't even know how they're gonna get out of this one, and then they somehow managed to do it. Number 10. Black Cat. Black Cat is only rounding out the bottom of this list because she is so ever-changing when it comes to her alignment and so much more complicated of a character to be considered either a hero or a villain, really. But she definitely is a very capable and dangerous criminal, when she needs to be, or when she wants to be, which is why she still makes the cut. When it comes to going up against Black Cat, odds are good you probably don't want to. In fact, she might not even be someone you want as an ally, considering that Black Cat could in fact be ready to double cross you at a moment's notice. Felicia Hardy is definitely one of the most dangerous thieves around when it comes to Marvel Comics, making her one of the publisher's most deadly, sometimes villain. Number 9. Bloodlust. Bloodlust was one of the villainesses that ended up joining the Femme Fatales. The Femme Fatales were an all-female supervillain group who were for a time working alongside Superior's Femizons in a plot to take over the world. She would end up being a mutant who lost her powers on M-Day, but when she did have them, they were very similar to Wolverine and X-23's. Bloodlust, whose real name is Beata Dubiel, actually predates X-23 in terms of her first appearance. Pretty cool facts. She first appeared in the comics in Marvel Comics Presents in 1990. After she lost her powers though, she became a skilled assassin who fought with small, stiletto-like blades. Powered, Bloodlust was believed to be as strong and deadly as Wolverine. Depowered, she was still a skilled enough fighter to give Domino a run for her money. Before we move on to our next number, just a quick reminder to give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying it. It really does help us out. Number 8. Emma Frost. Emma Frost is only ranking so low on the list because she is a reformed villain now in the comics, but that doesn't mean that she is any less deadly now that she is a hero. As a villain, she managed to swap bodies with Storm and infiltrate the X-Men. As a mutant and a person, Emma is so skilled and so badass that she even manages to use other mutant skills better than even they can. Like when she swapped bodies with Iceman and showed him up. Beyond that though, even just as a woman, not even considering her especially strong diamond form or masterful telepathic powers, Emma is pretty remarkable and dangerous. She's just a powerhouse who knows how to bargain when it comes to business dealings and relishes the power she wields as the White Queen of the Hellfire Trading Company, and formerly the Hellfire Club, because that's what the trading company used to be. But anyways, now the Hellfire Club is a bunch of kids that are villains, so modern time comics. Number 7. Mind Blast. We are going back to the Femme Fatales for a little bit here. This member of the team was actually first introduced in the 90s in Amazing Spider-Man issue 340. She is not only a mutant but also a cyborg. Her mutant powers grant telekinetic abilities which she can use to fly and manipulate other objects. In addition, she also possesses the power of telepathy via her cybernetic enhancements, which grant her telepathic shielding and allow her to create quite convincing psychic illusions. Convincing enough to lure some of the X-Men, including Psylocke, into a trap. Which in my mind, if you're tricking Psylocke with like telepathic illusions, you're pretty good. Number 6. Elektra. Elektra is one of the most skilled and dangerous women out there, both when she's acting as a villain and when she's acting even as a hero. Like Emma, she also ranks a little bit lower due to the fact that she is currently attempting to prove she can be good and operating under the codename Daredevil. So not super villainous right now. However, part of the appeal with Elektra is while an ally to Daredevil, she has never been completely good and in general is considered as more being a villain than a hero. Initially, she didn't possess any powers but was an incredibly skilled fighter, assassin, and ninja. Since being resurrected by the Hand, however, she does have some powers. She can low-key possess other people's minds, using this to track down her targets. It's also been revealed that she has other mental and telepathic abilities and fighting techniques. Gotta love those mental fighting techniques. Mental screams. Ah! This is why I should never get any kind of sonic scream, because I would just sound ridiculous. Not my mutant power. Okay. Number 5. Kandra. Kandra is part of the Externals and as such has spent a good amount of her comic book history being a pretty powerful villain. The Externals are immortals who can't be killed, except on the rare occasion when they can. Because comics. And because I mean, hey, every character has to have a weakness. For externals, they can be killed by having another external kill them if their hearts are consumed by said foe. Canberra is an immensely powerful telekinetic who also possesses some telepathic abilities, but she is also just deadly because of how ruthless she is and because of all of her connections, because she's so old. She not only is powerful in her own right, but also holds sway over other powerful mutants and allies. By the way, externals are different from eternals, in case you were wondering, though both are godlike but in different ways. And both are from Marvel, which is confusing. But yeah, externals, eternals. Number 4. Veranki. Queen Veranki is the main antagonist of the Secret Invasion storyline. Disguised as Spider-Woman, she, along with many of her undercover Skrulls, managed to infiltrate and, in secret, invade Earth. Hence the name of the story, Secret Invasion. Veranki is less about killing and more about conquering, but usually when it comes to conquering a planet, you're probably gonna have to break a few eggs. And when I say break a few eggs, I mean kill a few humans. As a Skrull, Veranki is capable of shapeshifting. She also can employ a special Skrull ritual in order to grant herself the memories and powers of those she is impersonating. And of course, as a queen, she also has armies at her beck and call. Or she did, until she was ultimately defeated and killed by one of the most evil characters in Marvel Comics and one of the most deadliest male villains, Norman Osborn. Also, where's my deadly male villain list? Number 3. Madeline Pryor. Also known as the Goblin Queen. Madeline Pryor was a pilot in Alaska who won Scott Summers' heart in part because, well, she looked exactly like his thought dead ex-teammate and lover, Jean Grey. Nothing gets someone going like being like, wait, you look like someone that just died that I was in love with. Oh, I'm so into this. I'd be like, I'm so traumatized by you, I definitely don't want to be around you. But hey, to each their own. It was later revealed to comic readers and Maddie herself after she married Scott and had a child with him that she was in fact Jean's clone, created using a piece of the Phoenix Force by Mr. Sinister, as part of a plot to create the perfect mutant, her son, baby Christopher, who'd grow up to become Nathan Summers, aka Cable. Mr. Sinister intended to steal the baby for himself and then destroy Maddie, having no further need for her. That's so rude. When she discovered she was Jean's clone and that Sinister was her creator, she ended up suffering from a mental break that in essence turned her evil. She made a pact with a demon and planned on sacrificing her son and other children in order to gain power, but ended up being stopped by the X-Factor and the X-Men teams. She has been thought dead, and actually dead, a few times in the comics, and made a recent return in 2020's Hellion series. And then we all realized, oh yeah, we totally forgot that Madeline Pryor is still alive and has been for a while. I'm sorry. I feel bad for her. She returned as a villain once more, and after her return was shortly thereafter defeated and is now presumed dead. But only time will tell if that remains true. Number 2. Harpy. And more specifically, Red Harpy, as you may have noticed from our thumbnail for this video. Harpy is basically the evil version of Betty Ross, Bruce Banner's love interest and ex-wife. Harpy came into being when MODOK used gamma radiation to transform her into a winged monster, who would make a pretty fitting opponent for the Hulk. Her exposure to gamma radiation not only made her the amazingly strong green monster known as the Harpy, but also drove Betty insane, making it easy for MODOK to manipulate her and use her to do his bidding. After becoming Red She-Hulk, we'd later also see an even more horrific version of Harpy when Betty returned as the immortal Red Harpy. Harpy in general is considered to be one of the strongest villains around and is strong enough to take on the Hulk face to face in a fight. One-on-one. She can also heal, fly, and possesses razor-sharp claws and talons. Number 1. Saturnine. That's Magistrix Opal Luna Saturnine to you. Also known as the White Witch, Saturnine is likely one of the most deadly villains on this list, considering just how powerful she is, and just how unpredictable she is. Of course, you still have a chance of getting past her if she happens to be in a particularly good mood. The thing about Saturnine is that she isn't outright evil. She's more of an all-powerful character who becomes a powerful villain simply because she wants to have fun, or because she wants something that others refuse to grant her. She can be both a powerful ally and a powerful enemy, but you definitely do not want her as an enemy. trust me. Saturnine is a deadly magic user who comes armed with the magic of Otherworld, and as the Omniversal Guardian and Magistrix is basically god level when it comes to the mischief that she is capable of. Number 10. Sapphire Styx. Sapphire Styx was a mutant villain powerful enough to turn Wolverine unconscious with her life-threatening powers. Her abilities allow her to steal the energy and life force of those she makes physical contact with, typically through kissing them. Kind of like Rogue, but without the power and memory absorption, and if she leaned into the harmful elements of her powers a little more. Sapphire did just that, and it is implied that she has been able to stay healthy and young for hundreds of years using her mutant ability. I love when we have like mutant vampirism. I love those powers. It's also believed she is powerful enough that she could use her mutant ability to kill her victims depending on her target's power level and resistance, of course. In the end, she was defeated and killed by Psylocke, who used her powers to avenge all the souls that Sapphire had ever drained, shattering her. Psylocke then used Sapphire's soul energy to rebuild her own body, becoming Betsy once more. Number 9. Knockout. Knockout has only made a few appearances in the comics since her first appearance in the 90s, but she is still a pretty deadly female villain and is super badass. She has worked within both the villainous supergroup of the Femizons and the Femme Fatales. More recently, she was seen once again fighting alongside the Femme Fatales. Knockout is a mutant whose powers are enhanced strength, endurance, and durability. She's a skilled enough fighter that she was able to make quick work of Mutant Rogue when she faced her briefly in Hunt for Wolverine, Mystery in Madripoor. Number 8. Lady Mastermind. We could talk about both for this point, but I've decided to focus on Reagan Wingard, who popped up in Dawn of X, as opposed to Martinique, who is also the daughter of Jason Wingard, aka Mastermind. Mastermind OG. Even when it seems like Reagan has not been strong enough when it comes to her mutant powers to achieve the desired effect on her victims, she has proven skilled and resourceful enough to find a way to push through any mental blocks or willpower that those she targets possess. Her mutant powers allow her to create realistic illusions that in fact can even trick your body into responding to them as if they were real, meaning that her illusions can actually kill you. Yikes. Unlike her father, her powers also do not require her full and devout concentration to work. Lady Mastermind's illusions will persevere even if she goes unconscious, which is pretty powerful. She's basically like way more powerful than her dad. And before we move on to our next spot, time for the most YouTube of moments where I ask you to kindly click that like. Pretty please? Number 7. Yelena Belova. Yelena Belova has always been the rival to Black Widow since way back when she was training in the Red Room Academy. She always aimed to be the best of the best and was driven crazy by her obsession to become the best operative out there. Belova at one point had her face swapped with Natasha's against her will, so that Nat could prove a point to her, basically that being a spy wasn't that great, to help convince her to come over to the good side of things, sort of. Belova will likely play a much less villainous role in the MCU, but in comics she has often been known as an antagonist to Black Widow. And she also has been Black Widow before. Although she is usually manipulated into being a villain, and the most evil thing about her is generally her competitiveness with Natasha, which we've already seen will be addressed in the Black Widow film, just based on the trailer. Belova has also acted as an ally to Natasha on occasion as well, despite the fact that she has lots of reasons to hate her. So yeah, it depends on what you're reading. She can be a villain, she can sort of be not really a hero, but an ally. She can be a hero in her own way. Number 6. Lady Bullseye. Maki Matsumoto is known for being one of the fastest fighters around. She is both believed to be faster than the Kingpin and Bullseye, who inspired her to become a killer under the same mantle, and Bullseye, who in fact inspired her to become a killer under that same mantle. She was saved by Bullseye when she was a little girl, who the Yakuza intended to sell for their own means. Bullseye, however, was tasked with wiping out those who would be responsible for her and many other victims' sale, and killed them before they could do so. Lady Bullseye is a skilled fighter, trained in wielding many different types of weapons, and proficient in many different kinds of martial arts. Oh, she also is apparently a lawyer, or at least understands law well enough to pose as one. She's both worked with Kingpin and successfully defeated him in combat, which I think is pretty impressive. Kingpin is not an easy person to defeat in a fight. Number 5. Titania. Titania is Mary McFerrin, a girl who was known for her small stature and often mocked for it when she was young, and aspired to become something greater than what she felt she was born into. After being offered powers by supervillain Dr. Doom, she was transformed into the powerhouse known as Titania. Titania has been shown to be skilled and strong enough to defeat a whole wheelhouse of powerful superheroes, including Luke Cage and Iron Fist, as well as The Thing and Mr. Fantastic. She's also kicked the butt of Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, is faster than a speeding bullet and Mjolnir itself, and can take a direct hit from the mythical hammer and be left completely unfazed by it. Now, some of this went on while her powers were boosted, admittedly, but either way, Titania is not a villain you'd want to face in a fistfight. I would not want to face her in a fistfight because my face would get punched into the next, into the nega zone. I'd be gone. You'd have no face left. Yikes. Number 4. Madam Hydra. Madam Hydra has close ties to quite a few superheroes and other famous villains, and we also for a time have known her under the codename Viper, which is also very important indeed given her obsession with snake venom in addition to other toxins and poisons. Madam Hydra's legal name is Ophelia Sarkinson, and like her codename implies, she is often known for being a ruler of Hydra and as a member of their High Council. She has close ties to Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman, who she has fought against and also sought to re-recruit, Wolverine, whom she was married to, and obviously Captain America, because Hydra. So yeah. As I said, Madam Hydra is fond of poisons, toxins, and venoms, and as such generally employs them for use as weapons through projectiles and even her lipstick. She also possesses near toxin immunity, which she obtained through frequent and carefully measured exposure. I wish that was true. What if you had actually, isn't that kind of how allergies work? Can't you be exposed to them in small amounts and then you can overcome your allergy? I don't know if that's true, but that might be true. It might be science. Don't try that if you're allergic to something and you die. Don't do it though, because I think then it doesn't work. Number 3. Moonstone. Like many of the deadliest and most villainous women in Marvel, Moonstone is really just a woman looking to put herself before others. She's always out to get what she needs first, which generally makes her a villain. But there have been times when Karla Sofin has both posed as a hero and also truly tried to be a hero. She was part of Baron Zemo's Thunderbolts, built out of his Masters of Evil team, and rebranded in disguise as superheroes, following the apparent destruction of most of Earth's heroes by Onslaught. Following this, the Thunderbolts did attempt to truly become heroes under the leadership of Hawkeye, whom Karla started a relationship with. Moonstone was also the Miss Marvel equivalent to Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers team, acting far more villainously once more. She can manipulate gravity, making her super powerful and allowing her to basically augment much of her own abilities, including durability, strength, and speed. She can even turn herself invisible using her gravity manipulation, and she can teleport. Number 2. Mystique. One of the deadliest women out there when it comes to female villains has got to be my girl, Mystique. The best thing about Mystique too is she's really a relatable villain because a lot of times she's kind of just looking out for number 1, herself. Wow, did I just say she's relatable and then I talked about how selfish she was? I think people are all selfish to an extent, which is true. I think we are all selfish at times. And sometimes Mystique also just behaves evilly to look out for those she legitimately cares for, like her now dead wife Destiny and their adopted daughter Rogue, whether or not Rogue actually wants her help or protection. And so that is definitely relatable, I think. Looking out for other people, even sometimes when people are like, I don't want your help, and you're like, well, I'm still gonna help you because I love you. Her shape-shifting powers means that she can pose as pretty much anyone, and her skills in disguise and impersonation help to smooth over these appearances, allowing her to even move and act like those whom she adopts the identity of. Not only that, but Mystique is a skillful fighter and manipulator, so she's not someone you want to get on the bad side of. Trust me, other people have, and they have been backstabbed so many times, their back is basically like a knife block at this point. Yikes. Number 1. Hela. Hela is one of the most deadly villains when she wants to be. Like Mystique, Hela isn't always a villain. She's not inherently evil, but is capable of great evil if it is something that is needed for her to get what she needs or wants. As the ruler of Hell, she is immensely powerful when it comes to her magic and her physical strength as well. She's also a necromancer, being ruler of Hell, though she isn't someone who enjoys torturing the souls over which she rules or manipulating them into doing her bidding, unless, once again, it serves some greater purpose for her. Still, Hela is not someone you want to get on the bad side of, and more recently as we've seen her ally herself with Thanos, we've seen an even more malevolent side of her. Number 10. Stained Glass Scarlet. Stained Glass Scarlet is a young god who came into existence following her own death. That is, following the death of her mortal self, Scarlet Fasanera. Scarlet had a tragic and rough life, filled with mistreatment by the men who she would have likely expected to trust the most. After her death in the same church where both her son and her husband also lost their lives, her story spread, gaining power. This power allowed Scarlet to return as a young goddess, who is connected to Moon Knight, seemingly immortal and possesses the ability to control glass. Number 9. Storm. While Storm might not be a god in the traditional sense, she was worshipped as a weather goddess for quite a while because of her abilities. And considering how powerful she is, and how much we all love her, I think we would all agree that she has more than earned her goddess status. When it comes to Storm's power levels, we have seen them spike to the point that the whole world was affected by her weather manipulation abilities. At the same time that this happened, as a reaction to her then claustrophobia, her power was also likened to that of the Phoenix, partially because it was so awesome and partially because it was so volatile. Over the years, Storm has gained more and more control over her powers and also healed from the trauma that caused her claustrophobia, meaning that she is pretty much in full control now. And she proved more recently in the comics during her battle against Tarn the Uncaring that she also doesn't need her mutant powers to be a deadly badass. Also, I feel like she's definitely in control of the ability to just manipulate weather on a planetary level, because we've seen her do that with Mars. At least I'm pretty sure she's done that on Mars. So yeah, there's also that. And friends, if you are loving this list and you would love to see some more lists where we get to pump up some of the most powerful ladies in Marvel Comics or DC Comics or Indie Comics or all of the above, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 8. Hera. Hera is a member of the Pantheon of Olympus. She is a Greek goddess who traditionally is associated in Greek mythology and belief with motherhood, family, childbirth, and marriage. In Marvel, she is likewise the wife of Zeus, but more recently in the comics, her and the other Olympians took a turn to become powerful villains. They were killed by the vengeful goddess Nyx and later returned as tyrannical and greedy gods who raised planets with a vengeance. In the end, they were defeated by the Guardians of the Galaxy, lost as Star-Lord was lost on the other side of reality. Eventually though, Star-Lord learned the Dark Olympians had escaped due to him using his elemental gun, where their power had been trapped and stored. They returned with him back to Earth and were more permanently defeated, at least so it seems, when they were seemingly killed by the Guardians, Hera included. She was squashed in the end by Groot. R.I.P. Hera. Number 7. Hela. Hela is the ruler of the Norse and Asgardian underworld. While in the MCU we know her as Loki and Thor's mysterious sister who was locked away in punishment for her continuous pursuit of war against Odin's wishes after he ultimately decided to kinda usher in an era of peace. In the comics main continuity of Earth 616, she is not Thor's sister, but instead, she's his niece. That's right, the Hela of Earth 616 is believed to be one of Loki's children, his daughter. She ended up becoming the ruler of the underworld as was decreed by Odin. Though just because she isn't a shunned sister who seeks revenge on Asgard doesn't mean that she isn't a villain, and doesn't mean that she doesn't sometimes try to seek revenge on Asgard. Even on Earth 616, Hela is known for her generally villainous intentions, and there was even a prophecy when she was born warning that she would be a great danger to the other gods and goddesses of Asgard. Number 6. Enchantress. Amora the Enchantress is one of the most powerful magic users in the Marvel Universe, and also happens to be a goddess within the realm of Asgard. She has been known by many names other than Amora, including Idun and Idunna, but what she has symbolized has always remained the same. Enchantress is meant to be the symbol of the perfect female form, known for her beauty and charm, which allows her to bend others, especially men, to her will. It is because of her beauty that Enchantress was deemed the only one to pick the golden apples from Yggdrasil. Although her backstory and origin are steeped in lore and Norse mythology, in the comics most people know her mainly as a villainess, who often goes up against the hero Thor, among others. Number 5. Aegis. Aegis is one of the Proemil gods, who are known for being the oldest in the cosmos. They are believed to have come into existence right after the first Big Bang, and were possibly the first entities that existed after that. Although, to be honest with you, With gods and goddesses, it seems like a lot of groups claim to be the oldest or the first. Aegis was one member of the Promeal pantheon to become corrupted, seeking new purpose after she was no longer needed. Attempting to rise up with her fellow rebellious gods, she ended up imprisoned along with her peers by Galactus, and she remained there for many years, although she would eventually escape and would later perish. Her power was said to rival that of Galactus and his heralds combined. That's pretty powerful. Number 4. Phoenix. One of the most powerful entities in the cosmos is the Phoenix Force. While the Phoenix doesn't always take a female host, I would say that many of the Force's hosts have been female, especially if we're focusing on the more notable ones. Currently in the comics, the Phoenix Force is bonded to Echo, aka Hero Maya Lopez, but its most well-known host is probably that of Marvel Girl, aka classic X-Men teammate Jean Grey. You might not think of Phoenix as a god either, but the entity has been worshipped both by some on planet Earth in the past and by the Shi'ar at one point. Number 3. Celestial Madonna. Celestials are known for being all-powerful and almost impossible to defeat or fight against. We got our first taste of just how ginormous and seemingly unstoppable they can be in Eternals when the team of heroes decided to stand together to prevent the Celestials from destroying Earth, which they had decided to defend as their home. Most Celestials tend to skew male, or simply could be considered to be without gender, but Celestial Madonna is unique, as she is one of the few featured Celestials to actually have a seemingly female form. Celestial Madonna has only appeared in a few issues, but she is a Celestial, so we can imagine that she must be one of the most powerful, probably female, gods or goddesses around in the Marvel Universe. Cause Celestials. Number 2. Gaia. Gaia is literally known as Mother Earth in the Marvel Universe. She made her first appearance back in the 1970s in the 1974 series of Doctor Strange, in issue number 6. Back then she was introduced as Mother Nature, but would later become known as Gaia. Gaia is believed to be one of the oldest goddesses on the planet Earth and is related to the god of chaos, Chthon, who is also known for his ties to Avengers Scarlet Witch in the comics. Gaia belongs to the family of elder gods, and like many on this list, is going to be kinda hard to rank because she's pretty much maxed in almost all stats, considering that she is an extremely ancient being and entity. Basically, I feel like with this list, it's really hard to put them in any order because you're like, I mean, they're all pretty powerful. So yeah, you can let me know if you have a different order for the ones that I have here based on what you've read in the comics about them. Number 1. Death. Death is an entity we are familiar with in a few different forms, but for this point I'm going to be focusing on the version that Thanos is typically seen pining after, which is honestly typically the version we associate with Death when we're talking about her in the Marvel Universe. Sometimes referred to as Mistress Death, she made her first appearance in Marvel Mystery Comics issue number 21 back in the 1940s. So not only is she old and ancient in the world of the Marvel Universe, but also within Marvel Comics history as well.